What is going on, folks? This is episode 782 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. A lot of Atlanta Falcons talk going on. Kirk Cousins has just been signed by the Atlanta Falcons for a year, $180 million contract. It's kind of pretty much of a 3-year deal, but people play with the money when it comes to the salary cap, and for what it's worth, it's not a bad deal. Now, there's all the ins and outs when it comes to Kirk Cousins and, his injury, his age, all this other stuff. Get it. We get it. Now, let's talk about the other quarterback, Desmond Ridder. What do he need to do at this point? What does he need to do? Because this is a situation here where this could be a plus for him. I mean, to be honest, this could be a plus for him if we are going to look at this from an optimistic standpoint. I've already gave you my thoughts and opinions about Desmond Ridder as far as what he could actually learn or bring to the table at this point. But I gotta be pretty fair, because now we're looking at a situation where we may need to rely on him at some point, and we could make an argument that as much as I, was like not necessarily all in on Ridder, or I was pretty much done with him after the Jacksonville Jaguars game last year, I have to understand that he still has to be somewhat of an asset to this team unless something crazy happens with, moving on from him as far as him not being on the team at all. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on it. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I am also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can listen to the show on Apple and YouTube, because that's the audio version. If you want to watch the show, I think you can watch it on Spotify. I upload it to Spotify so the visuals can be there. Sometimes I have trouble myself looking for it, but it says it's up there, so hopefully you guys can watch it. Also on Rumble, the entire video of the podcast is on Rumble, so you guys can check it out there. If you want to follow me on X at VF Baller, that is my Twitter handle, VF Baller. The website is firstandframerates.com. If you want to donate to the show, CashApp and PayPal links are below. Let's just go ahead and get straight into this. Long story short, Desmond Ridder needs to learn everything that he can if he's going to be on this team. He needs to learn everything that he can from this offense, from the quarterback coaches, whatever he learned last year. I'm going to be quite honest, he can pretty much throw most of that stuff out of the window. Get the playbook if you haven't gotten it already. Because I'm pretty sure he had some type of meeting with the coaches. And this is all based on if he's going to still be with the team, because we don't know what's going on. I mean, we got to be quite honest. We don't know. And, with Kirk Cousins being QB1, if he's going to be the backup, he needs to get into that playbook ASAP. He needs to learn that offense, because it's a really good offense for quarterbacks to succeed. And whatever the case may be, if Kirk Cousins go down, or if he sticks around long enough to be Kirk Cousins' successor, he needs to be the next guy ready to go. Does he have the tools to do it? I think he has the physical abilities to do it. I think a lot of the stuff that he's been subjected to has been up here. It's been a lot of mental stuff that caused him to make certain decisions when passing the ball, throwing the ball to the other team. Some passes have been outright crazy, boneheaded throws. But you saw flashes where he can do some things. And I feel like if he wants to be, I would say if he want to be an above average quarterback, I think this is the offense that he can really learn from. You have to understand that this offense, produced, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, in some cases even, it helped out Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins. Look at that Shanahan tree. It just branched out to touch so many quarterbacks. I think wasn't Slovis the guy from the Shanahan tree? Look at what he done with CJ Stroud. I think Ben Johnson was one as well. I'm not 100% sure. I think Ben Johnson was as well. It branches out so wide, so, we just talked about Kevin McConnell. I think that's his name, the guy from the offensive coordinator for the Vikings. It branches out so much. And all of these quarterbacks have done, for the most part, they've done very well. So for Desmond Ridder needs to get right into that playbook. He needs to pick the brains of this coaching staff. He needs to learn a lot from Coach Kirk Cousins when Kirk Cousins do make it to the team or whatever the case may be. I think he has a situation where he can absorb all of this knowledge and actually, come out as a better quarterback. And if that's the case, after these 2 to 3 to 4 years of Kirk Cousins, are you going to, make that move and try to keep Desmond Ridder? Does he move on to somewhere else? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's too far down the road to even think about. But if you would want to have a successor, to have one in the house is not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people say, hey, we could be drafting another quarterback in a couple of years. I mean, yeah, I believe it. Probably so. But if you have a guy that's already there learning what Zach Robinson does, learning what the offense can do, and you have him in-house, after this contract is up, I mean, do you sign Desmond Ridder to a comparable contract where he could be a guy on a redemption tour? What happens if, God forbid, Kirk Cousins go down and you have to put Desmond Ridder back in? What happens at that point? Can he redeem himself from last year? Now, I will say this, and like I said, I have to be fair. I do believe that Desmond Ridder will have a better chance to succeed in this offense because I think the last offense that he was in under Arthur Smith was kind of a bad rap. I don't think Arthur Smith offense ever was catered to a quarterback that can throw the ball, even though they tried to throw the ball a little bit. But you saw the type of passes that they were doing, even with Marcus Mariota, in some cases with Ryan Tannehill. A lot of these guys were throwing less than 20 times a game. They were very conservative. They relied on the running game. Watch what they do in Pittsburgh. They may try to throw the ball a little bit, but some of those plays, I don't think they're going to be very viable if he brings that same playbook to the Steelers. But you're going to see Najee Harris gets a lot of burn. I mean, that's just how that offense is set up. Derrick Henry got a lot of burn. Tyler Algier was able to get a lot of burn. Cordell Patterson, Bijan Robinson, they ran the ball very well. So it did never really cater to the quarterback. Tannehill, Mariota, Desmond Ridder. These guys never really had a chance to flourish in a passing type of offense, in my opinion. When you get a offense that's kind of like the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, type of offense, it branches out. You see all these quarterbacks are slinging the ball all over the place. Kirk Cousins over 4,000 yards. Before he went down, he had 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I think he threw for like 2,500 yards in 8 games. You get a guy who can learn from stuff like that, and the abilities that Desmond Ridder have. He's not like an unathletic quarterback. His decision making is the problem. If you can fix his decision making, you have a guy who can redeem himself. Now, I will be one of the first ones to tell you, I was checked out on Desmond Ridder because I didn't think that any type of offense like this would come his way. I thought he was going to be a guy that's going to be sitting behind, a basic offense or a offense that is not as exotic as the offenses that we're going to see with Zach Robinson. And he was just going to be a guy that's going to be, pretty much a backup. Now he has a chance in a year or maybe 2 years, learning from what you have now. If they decide to keep him, he could be a guy that could, really prosper. I mean, it's all about the coaching. Coaching always matters. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. When you have a coach that believes in you and a coach that actually cater to your strengths, and I'm not saying that Coach Arthur Smith necessarily did not cater to his strengths. I believe that Coach Arthur Smith did try to get him to use some of his mobility. I just think that in the passing game, you look at some of these running routes, you look at some of the plays that were called, some of these receivers were like 2, 3, 4 yards in bunches of each other. Some of the routes that was ran was absolutely horrendous. I mean, there's no quarterback, in my opinion, would have succeeded under that situation. Once again, I will tell you, look at Ryan Tannehill. You saw what happened with him. You look at Mariota, look what happened to him. You look at Desmond Ridder. I mean, you're not going to succeed under this type of that type of offense. But you know who do succeed? You got the running backs. Derrick Henry was a beast. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson looked pretty good. Cordell Patterson looked pretty good. Najee Harris is going to eat in that offense up there in Pittsburgh. So with that being said, I just don't understand where I just don't understand where Desmond Ridder did. I ain't gonna say he got a bad rap. I just don't understand where a lot of people would think that in that offense a quarterback would have succeeded. I just all the time Arthur Smith been around, I've never seen any type of elite quarterback play in that offense. But in this offense that we're coming up with, you're going to see what, a healthy, if he stays healthy, Kirk Cousins can do. You kind of saw it already when he was in the offense in Minnesota. I mean, he was, one of these top quarterbacks. I tweeted out his passer rating for since 2019. There's only two guys above him. I think it was like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes or something like that. It was, two top tier quarterbacks was the only two quarterbacks ahead of him in passer rating since 2019, minimum of 1,000 throws. So Kirk Cousins, it can be that dude in this offense. Desmond Ridder could easily learn from this, and we'll just see where it goes. Now, what are my chances of all this what is going to be? Does it actually happen? I'm more 50-50, to be quite honest. I don't really know. But what I will say is that this is a good opportunity for him to redeem himself. I mean, I will say that it's a really good opportunity. A year or so, or if something happens and Kirk Cousins go down, he should be right there ready to go. And I think this offense will cater to him much better than the last offense did. So, make no mistake. As of right now, I'm checked out on Desmond Ridder. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but I have to be honest and be like, look, if he's going to be learning from this offense, or if he's going to be a part of his team, the first thing he needs to do is get that playbook and learn the concepts what Zach Robinson and company is trying to do with this offense, because that's the only way he's going to be able to redeem himself. And to be quite honest, if he goes to another team, I don't know if that's going to help him. I think this particular offense would help Desmond Ridder over any other offense I can think of right now. I mean, outside of, obviously if he went to the Chiefs or something, because look at that offense. It's absolutely amazing. But you kind of get what I'm saying. I think this is his opportunity to be like, you know what? I may be quarterback 2, but I got to be ready to go as if I'm going to be QB1. I made some mistakes last year, and I know a lot of the fan base is down on me, but I'm going to do what I can to try to bounce back. And I think that's pretty much the best way to go about it. I just don't see any other way. So we'll see how it goes. That's just my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Follow me on Rumble at still it's First and Frame Rates. You can follow me on Rumble. The links will be down in the description if you want to watch the show. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, that's where I am. Also, you can follow me on X at VFBaller. The website is firstandframerates.com. And if you want to support the show, CashApp and PayPal links are below. Thank you guys for making it this far. I really appreciate it. This channel is growing, and it's all thanks to you guys. I am going to get up out of here. You guys take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.